I hate to break the fishing news up, Yaremchuk, but I'd like to speak about the ice hockey.
Congratulations, you're one of the 13 listeners of the Real Life Podcast.
We just traded a migraine in for like an orgasm.
Might want to mark that down, Yaremchuk.
Yep. All of my projects are on schedule until they're not.
A member of the Nation Network of Podcasts.
About as funny as we're going to get today.
Episode 230 of the Real Life Podcast. I'm Tyler Yaremchuk, joined by Bagged Milk Jay Wanye. No Chalmers yet, but we know Chalmers likes to just pop in at random moments throughout the podcast. So at some point, we're going to see him show up on our FaceTime call, and then you will hear him through your ear holes because that's what podcasts are all about. Episode 230 of the podcast is brought to you by Oodle Noodle. 14 locations in Edmonton. It's absolutely delicious. Last week, I said my order. I'm going to put you on the spot, Bagged Milk. What's your go-to with Oodle Noodle?
Oh, without question. This is easy. This is very, very easy. It's a hot box with shrimp with 2 green onion cakes.
There you go.
It's a championship order.
That is a championship order.
Every week, I'm going to ask someone for their Oodle Noodle order. That's how I've decided to tackle the ad reads for the next while.
Tyler, if I'm hungover, war wonton soup. Again, with 2 green onion cakes, those are my two. Easy, hands down.
Ooh, butter chicken hungover is amazing.
Yep. And then you got the opportunity to dunk. I like dunking when I'm hungover, Tyler. So be it soup or butter chicken, you're going to win either way.
Yeah. When I'm hungover, there's no, I just want everything. I want every flavor I can get.
That's fair. Oh, my mic cut out. That's fair. Ooh, I'm having mic issues today. That's unlike Yaremchuk, who has the fancy microphone of the four of us. I'm barely paying attention because the Masters are on, and I absolutely love watching golf on TV. That's something I picked up over the pandemic really hardcore, and even before that, I loved watching the Masters. Masters in November. Interesting, though. Very interesting.
Are we betting on the Masters, Tyler?
Are we betting on the Masters? Bagged Milk, please.
I'm looking right now at my sports book. I don't even know what I can bet on.
Yeah, and that's a great tease. That's a good professional tease because we have Scott Hastings coming up in about 30 minutes, and he can tell us how to bet on golf. We'll talk to him from OddsShark. OddsShark, your spot for sports betting information. The guys I bet on, I have 7 guys that I put money on to win. Thomas, Schauffele, Johnson, Finau, Rose, Morikawa, and the Canadian, Corey Connors. You always got to bet on the Canadian. And I got some other bets for round 1 here. Like you can bet on head-to-head golfers, like who's going to have a better score between 2 guys. So I did that a bunch as well. I love betting on golf. Betting on golf, watching golf, playing golf. I'm a golf guy.
You're missing one greasy pick who just always is, what else? We'll save it. I'll save it for Hastings, who you can just set your watch to. He is going to be in the mix. And sure as shit, he is in round 1. And we'll talk about that when Scott comes on.
An interesting debate I had today at work as we were talking, or at the radio station. When you're golfing, are you a hot dog or a sandwich guy after the front 9?
Ooh. Okay, well, that's circumstantial. So if I'm just living my normal life, and it's like, hey, I'm in town, it's, and it's a work day, I'm definitely a sandwich guy. But like if I'm on a golf trip or it's we'll call it a fun Saturday round, and I'm also enjoying the Nation beers on the course, definitely hot dog hot dog. But if something supersedes hot dog, if they have it, and it's very rare that they do, and I grew up on these goddamn things, and that is a delicious sausage roll.
Oh,
I love me a sausage roll.
Interesting.
So sausage roll supersedes everything, and then but the likelihood of you encountering one now is dwindling. So I date myself when I mention sausage roll, but R.I.P. They're delicious. But and if you want to go deeper, our boy Mandrick always says the best thing you can get at the turn is a sausage roll and a root beer, and I'd have to agree because I'm a big root beer guy. So. Circumstantial. If I'm living my best life, keeping it tight, sandwich. If I'm living my best life and letting it loose and having a good, enjoying myself and having a few beers, hot dog.
One of my favorite things that we ever did at one of the Nation golf tournaments was we had a little game. It was the first year we ever did it, where we had a little game on one of the holes of who could outdrive who. It was me or Mandrick.
Yeah.
And if you look at Mandrick, because at the time he had the long flowing locks, and you wouldn't think he was a golfer, but I tell you, he can smash them.
Mandrick is a good golfer. Now, I have to say this because I'm from the long ball guild. He's an absolute bunt, but he's so consistent.
Drove me. I gave a hell of a divot, Tyler.
On your drive, you had a hell of a divot.
Oh yeah, I'm terrible.
I think that.
I like it, but I'm terrible.
I'll tell you, to answer that question, I'll tell you the best thing you can have on a golf course, and that's having Yegburger serving burgers on one of the holes.
That was fucking unreal. That Nation golf. I only did the one because that was my first year of working with you guys. But that was so much fun, and I was very drunk.
I can't wait to do it again.
I golfed terribly, but I also can't wait to do it again. That, and when I saw I got a Snapchat memory, whatever it was now, like a month ago, of me and Coombe really drunk at the season opening party when they were in Europe.
Oh,
so it was party. Love me a brunch party.
Oh man, it was like noon, and I was just buckled at the pint, and me and Coombe were just having a great time. I miss those.
That's when you, I love brunch parties at the pint because that's when you get 2 a.m. drunk at 2 in the afternoon, and it is a adventure of a day.
Long marathon day.
And then you're home by like 3, and your whole schedule is fucked because usually for me, like when I get that drunk in the afternoon, it's like, all right, I need to go to bed, and I'll sleep for like 4 hours and wake up at 9 and be like, what the hell is going on right now? What day is it?
If there's one thing that the pandemic has done for me, Tyler, I'm really dialing in my day drinking session, my day drinking game.
Yeah, that's fair.
I can keep at a steady 4.5, 5 out of 10 for hours now, which I think is key.
This past summer, I went golfing with my buddies, and I had a little bit too much to drink, so I had to go home and crush a nap. And then we had plans to go to my buddy's house for just like a little backyard fire afterwards. So I fell asleep at 4 o'clock, and I woke up, shades down, everything. It was dark in my room. And I woke up, and I was getting a call from my buddy, and I picked up. I'm like, hello? And he was like, yeah, where the hell are you? Like, we're waiting for you to show up. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's 8 a.m. And he's like, no, you idiot. It's 8 at night. It's 8 p.m. Remember, we're supposed to hang out. And I was like, oh, yeah, shit. I totally forgot about that. Like, I slept so good for 4 hours. I legitimately thought it was the next day. Most confused I've been in a while. Anyways, for the record, I would pick a sandwich. That's where we were going with that conversation. A little bit of Oilers talk. They were, every team dropped these new teasers, but the Oilers dropped the teaser of their new reverse retro jersey. We've seen like some, reported leaks online and all that, but looking at this thing, an actual Adidas product, and you just kind of got the corners of it. What does everyone think? I think it's sick. I think
it's sick. Oh, I love it.
My fresh Nugent Hopkins jersey is going to look great on that thing.
Well, so I only own. Oh no, that's a lie. Because I was partying with the Germans and I bought a white Dreisaitl. And I say my only white jersey is a Nuge, so I have to get Nuge on the next white jersey I get. But yeah, no.
I made that stupid comment that as soon as he signs his extension, I'm going to buy every flavor of Nuge jersey I can find. So I've got a big ticket coming here right now.
Now there's like 6 jerseys to buy.
Yeah.
Don't forget that black and orange one that they've never played in that you see circulating around there. You got to get your hand on one of those.
The weird like blackout edition jerseys. I love it. I'm a big fan of white in general for jerseys. I think white jerseys are just so crisp. Like if I have a ton of jerseys, an absurd amount, but like I'd say close to 50% of them are actually white, just because I love the look of that.
Got to run a tight game with white. I've got a new pocket jersey right now that can tell you a story. About how I live my life when I'm at the hockey games.
Well, all my jerseys are rocking bizarre stains, and I can't clean them because it would get rid of the good luck that we've accumulated since 2007.
It just reminds me of when we were in Vegas in February, and Rick was wearing that fresh Yamamoto white jersey, and he mustered it up to a championship degree.
That was good.
That was a good-looking jersey, though.
It was a great-looking jersey.
My Everly jersey has, right down the Oilers logo, a stripe of red sourpuss. From smashing red sourpuss post-game victory shots.
Ugh, red sourpuss.
What a victory shot of red sourpuss.
Oh, fuck.
Well, it's like 2013, boys.
And sourpuss is like 12%. Like, oh, man.
Times are different. Yeah. Well, they have vodka in them. It's vodka with a splash of sourpuss for color.
Oh, damn. Okay,
that's the game plan.
That'd be pretty good.
That'll make you, I don't know how the sourpuss ended up on your jersey, but that would make me vomit for sure.
Red sourpuss is delicious. You just got to space it out throughout your night.
Well, it's better than the tray of Jack shots that you usually show up with post
The
victory.
first sip of red sourpuss is delicious.
Oh.
The last sip is the worst thing you've ever tasted in your life.
My esophagus is just burning thinking about this.
That's how you know it's working.
It reminds me of vomiting in the middle of Kingsway Avenue because my buddies and I were shacking sourpuss before Ookfest back in probably 2004. I don't know
the
if
Headstones were playing.
the Headstones, actually no, Social Code was headlining that year. And I don't know if I've drinking sourpuss since.
One time, Jay and I were driving with a buddy, and we went through we weren't driving, we were in the vehicle. We went through a drive-through car wash and drank an entire bottle of sourpuss in the time it took to clean and dry the car.
You were just sitting in the back of Buddy's car, and he was like, I need a car wash. And you're like, well, now's probably a good time to crack this open.
We were like, we got to get to the bar. It's game time. He's like, oh, I got to get my car wash before we can go. We're like, no, it's game time. We've already gone to the liquor store. We want to go out and pregame in the Cowboys parking lot. Such was the traditions of the time.
Fair.
And he's like, no, I'm going to wash my car. We're like, well, then fine. We're going to drink this whole bottle of sourpuss in the car wash. And we did it. And that's the spirit that got us to Lillehammer.
Looking back on your drinking career, is there something that you started out drinking that now, as you've evolved, you just can't believe you did? Like, I used to get I would buy a Mickey of Zambuca, and I would just sip on that.
Jeez, man.
What on earth?
That's
I'm not saying it was great.
Do you have an overwhelming desire for black licorice?
All I can think of that was weird is like I used to drink like Boone's.
Yeah,
which
there's nothing weird there. Carry on.
But I don't know. I haven't had a Boone's in a long time, so I don't know if that would taste good or not. 'Cause that's just sugar on top of sugar. And then for a while there, because a young Jay's living on a budget. I don't know what happened, but this liquor store in the West End.
I don't know what happened. There must have been a problem at the warehouse.
There's obviously a discontinued beer that was like this hemp beer that they bought. Apparently, all of it.
I remember
for the whole summer.
This stuff. Yeah.
For the whole summer, you could get a 6-pack of this stuff for like $4. And so we would always like run once again, like and then that like $4. And so you get that in a bottle of Boone's for like $12. Like that, that's a night right there. But the beer was so bad. Oh, we would just force it down. Like it was gross.
It was always warm.
Oh yeah, they wouldn't, cause they could. They'd have to charge you an extra quarter for it. Yeah. They put it in the cooler. So it was always on the warm floor. It was just I couldn't.
That reminded me of drinking a TNT beer.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
it was super cheap.
Fuzzy. Like you taste like hair. Like fur.
Yeah, it tastes like you're licking a comb.
I had a stint here, M-Chuck, where wherever we would go, I'd always try to have like a bartender that was like my bartender, that we had some sort of arrangement and understanding. And I had a period for a time at Iron Horse where I would drink bar mat shots to get no tab. And they'd be like, oh, you're here again. We'll kill your bill for you if you drink the bar mat. I'm like, no problemo. Let's get this going. And they give me like $100 worth of booze.
But like, what would be the point from their perspective? They knew you were coming to drink. Just entertainment, like drink the fucking bar mat.
Yeah. Well, then they would come see me, and I would give them free booze. Who the hell knows why we do anything we do? Just like, will you do it again? I'm like, of course.
Have you ever had a bar mat, Tyler?
No.
The good thing about a bar mat is they're always different.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like a snowflake.
Mm-hmm.
But back in the day, like when there were like a busy nightclub and you had like 12 busy bartenders going at Iron Horse simultaneous, you could get away with all sorts of shit.
That's fair. That's gross to me. Keep in mind that my drinking days I'm not too long into them. So for me, like when I first started drinking, I remember the first night I ever was like, all right, me and my one buddy, I was like, we are getting, the buddy that came to Vegas with us, actually, I was like, all right, we're getting drunk tonight. Like for the first time we were going to get hammered. And it was like, yep, done. And like I had done the, like drink at a family wedding kind of thing and all that, but I'd never like gone out somewhere with my buddies to a party and like gotten hammered. So I was not of age. And so I had to get my sister. I was like, hey, I don't know what I want to drink, but I want twisted teas and beer for me and my buddy. So she went and she got us twisted teas and a 12-pack of Rickard's Red.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
Well, no, like now I'm like, Rickard's Red, delicious. When you aren't long into your beer drinking career, Rickard's Red is not. It's not an entry beer. It's not a starter beer. So I just remember trying to like choke down Rickard's Red, trying to get drunk, and then just eventually slamming the Twisted Teas. Twisted Teas became my drink of choice for a while, but I can't anymore.
Understandably so. They're delicious. I would say that if I saw somebody drinking Rickard's Red when I started my career, I would think you were a fancy boy because I always had 40s. Because they were cheap.
Well, it's funny you say fancy. So my first ever keg party I went to, the keg was Rickard's Red. And it was a keg party for a school, like a private high school. So it was a bunch of rich kids. And I was friends with someone on the outside and we got invited in. But so I forever put Rickard's Red on a pedestal because that was my first keg party experience. Just like I put berry teas as like I remember I was 16 and I got snuck into berry teas and I remember walking in and I thought I was like right in the middle of Hakkasan on the strip in Vegas. Like I was like, holy cow, look at the lights, look at the dance floor. So it's funny how you put things on a pedestal. So I'll forever, ever love Rickard's Red because that was a magical night for me. That was like that was a milestone night. First
when I was
kegger.
Entering into my drinking career and I went to a busy nightclub, I thought I was at the Playboy Mansion on Christmas Eve. If that's the same. Like the excitement level. I remember going back to school being like, you won't even believe what nightclubs are. They're like a school dance. They're open every night and people drink booze.
It's a great way to illustrate it, though, to someone who would be like too young to know what's really going on.
You're too young to even know about things like 25-cent draft on Thursdays at Cowboys, my friend. Like I remember the first time rolling into there and you put down a five spot and they give you a tray back of beer. It was the best.
Yeah, it was the best.
Yeah, it must be really discouraging your MCAC. It must be discouraging for you to know you've missed everything good happening.
Yep. Yeah, from what you guys tell me, life was a lot better in, the early 2000s. For me, the cheapest booze ever is when you'd go to one of the bars in Edmonton and they would do like until 10 o'clock or until 11 o'clock, it's $2.75 highballs. Like that was the best you could get.
There would be a siren. They'd have a siren. It'd be like, for the next 5 minutes, $2.75 dry. You run over.
I remember once one of my buddies who, granted we were like 18 at this time, so none of us had any money, but he was like scraping it. Like he was like, all right, boys, I got like $20 to go out with tonight. So we get to the bar. He goes to the bartender. He's like, yeah, it's $2.75. He goes, just give me 5 shots. So she comes back and she goes, yeah, it's going to be like $28. And he's like, what are you talking about? It's $2.75. She goes, no, sorry, that's until 11. It's 11:01 now. And she wouldn't give it to him. He was like, that's bullshit. Like, come on. I started my order at 11. She was like, sorry, computer says I rang it up too late. And we
rules are the rules, man.
Oh, man, he was so mad. He needed one of us to like spot him some money so he could pay for the shots.
You're like, I'll spot you the 8, but you have to get the 75 elsewhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I remember like places like Union Hall that had the escalating booze prices as you went along in the night. It started off at 25-cent highballs, then 50 cents, then 75, then $1.
If you were willing to go there early and miss pre-gaming somewhere better, you get a hell of a deal.
Absolutely. And by the time the dollar highballs kicked in, you were just rat-ass drunk, just falling down. It was the best. Good times. Can't imagine why they canceled those.
Me and my buddies.
The man doesn't want us to have any fun. That's why.
Me and my buddies every year, we do a golf trip to Camrose. Again, this was a tradition that started when we were like 17. And it was they have a super cheap stay and play. Their golf course is fun and it's close to Edmonton. So we do that. And there's the bar in Camrose OCs. And every time you go up there, everything's a different price, it feels like. You'll go up there and be like, yeah, 2 rum and cokes and 2 shots. And the bartender comes back, gives you and goes, yeah, $12.75. Then you do it like 10 minutes later with a different bartender and they come up to you and they go, same order. And they'll be like, yeah, it's $18.50. Like, what the fuck?
They're ripping you off, buddy. They're pocketing the difference.
Well, yeah, I kind of figured that. But I mean, you're not in a position at like 18, 19 years old to be like, fuck you, it's not that much money. Like, you just kind of got to.
And they know that.
Yeah. So anyways, I like that this wasn't even written down in the topics and we got on we started talking about our drinking memories. That's good.
Sometimes you get inspired by all the horrible decisions you made on Zambuca,
Nothing's happening. All we have to do is reminisce while we watch November Masters.
Yeah, that's true. One more bar story. I'll tell bar story. So I go to Moose Jaw quite a bit, and learning Edmonton bar culture, which is, you buy something for $4.25, you give them $5, keep the change, or $3, whatever. So, that's not a practice that was adopted in Saskatchewan. So I'm in Moose Jaw with the bar, and I would be tipping, right? I'd give them, and they would be like, what, no, and they'd be shocked that you did it. But then all of a sudden, I was like, I quickly elevated that night as like the rock star guy, because I'm the one tipping the 25 cents or the 50 cents on the drink. As the Rock and Royal, the RIP,
The Rock and Royal, all right,
was getting packed. I'd be like, I'm gonna go get a drink. Like, I'd just go stand in the line, and the guy would just like point at me. It'd be like 10 people deep, and he'd get my drink ready for me, all because I was tipping like 25, 50 cents. It was unreal. I felt like a rock star.
That's good living.
Yeah, it was great living.
You can also feel like a rock star by visiting our friends at Twig and Berries. By looking good, they will make you look good. And right now, head to their Instagram. It's Twig and Berries, CA. The word "and" is spelled out, not the little fancy symbol. And they're doing a bit of a giveaway right now. Tag your partner. Ladies, put this on the Christmas list. They've created the perfect gift box for the man in your life. Sorry, this is not a giveaway. It is a gift box they've put together. I don't know why I said giveaway. They got their best-selling hoodie, the Connor hoodie, a pair of nutsack underwear, a pair of Twig and Berries Active Fit socks, and the Ultra Slim wallet, the tumbler, and their branded toque. All of that for $150. If you're looking for someone you're doing some Christmas shopping for and all that, that's the spot. You just go to Twig and Berries, use the promo code NATION15, get that big gift package, you save 15% on it, and your Christmas shopping is done. Just like that. Check it off. Twig and Berries CA, twigandberries.ca online. There you go. Support local, look good, feel good, all that stuff.
If you feel really ambitious, slide in a Nation 100 and see what happens.
And if you want to feel like a rock star, there would be no better moment to do so than maybe going in the back door of the Pint, waving at Rick as you walk through and only your nutsack underwear tie.
Wouldn't that be a power move? You just walk
you
around.
You hit the D floor like that?
Yeah.
It would be an honor to be doing a cooler pop in the back of the Pint in nothing but nutsack underwear.
And remember, tag our friends at Twig and Berries on social media and tell them to do a sweatpant collab with Nation Gear.
Please.
Yes. I also think an underwear collab would be great, but maybe that's a topic for another day.
Well, that's probably the easier thing to do, but let's start with the more challenging one and then do the easy one.
Yeah, you aim high. You'll never be disappointed. Jay, are you rocking a new hoodie as well there from Nation Gear?
I'm rocking our latest Mobilize collab right now hoodie.
That's a sharp-looking hoodie. Check it out, nationgear.ca. Similar to the last one, but it's got that gray look. I like that. I dig it.
Okay, I got to tell you the truth about my Mobilize hoodie. It got donaired. I was eating a donair, very Edmonton story, and I got grease all over it. And for some reason, I was like, "Oh, this will be fine. I'll get the grease out later." And there was no later. And now I can't wear it anymore because it's covered in grease.
Well,
but I feel like it's okay because it was a really good donair.
Well, that's good. My last donair experience, I made a mistake. I fucked up. I went against my code, my donair code.
This was a jumbo Marco. I have no regrets.
No, that's fine. I went to Primetime down the street, and this is probably even a shot of Primetime. Well, except for they cut their meat too small, which I don't like. But they have the chicken and the beef, so I decided to get the mix. I mixed the chicken and the beef donair, and it was just regrets. Like, you go and get the thing about a donair is that, like, when you go and get one, it's because you really fucking want one, right?
Yes.
It's not because it's just something to like put into your system to tide you over. It's because, like, man, I want a donair. So I was like, man, I want a donair. So I go and I fuck it all up by crossing the meat and go home and crush it at home. And I was kind of like, I was just mad at myself.
That's almost similar to how I fucked up my donair last week because, like you said, I really wanted one. But I decided to skip the dishes, a donair, and I didn't pay attention to what the address was. So by the time it got to me, it didn't travel well.
Yeah, you got to pick you got to pick the close shop because they don't travel the best.
No, and the pita was like basically just a soggy mess, and that's not the donair shop.
No, it's not.
That was my fault.
It's not. Yeah, it's. I did the exact same thing, Bagmel. I ordered. I was like, oh, sweet, like good rating, and they were like, it was like 58 minutes or something like crazy.
Boy, you know this, having done all your Donaire reviews. If you want a good Donaire, you really want to honor the game, you have to go in.
You do.
Yep.
So yeah, I went in and then knowingly made that mistake. That's the thing. I ate it. I'm sure the chicken Donaire is fine.
No, it's not.
That does
chicken
not.
Donairs are not good.
Yeah,
But it wasn't in my mental map. It was, I wanted the fucking true beef Donaire.
Yeah.
So I hit, and I even went jumbo on it too. I were large. So that's one thing. Like if you're a Donaire shop, like play the role. Do not go small, medium, and large. It is.
Jumbo, super jumbo, quintuple jumbo.
No.
Mix like a
regular, super jumbo. Yeah, it got too hairy. I should have aborted the mission right then and there because I'm regretting it because that's now my last Donaire experience. So now
whenever I go to Marco's, I have the same argument with myself. Do I get a cheeseburger? The Marco's cheeseburgers are beyond belief. Or do I get a jumbo Donaire, which I know is my spirit animal? These are the decisions that keep you up at night, boys.
Yep.
That's kind of the dilemma I have at like almost every restaurant I go to. You know, everywhere you go, you kind of got like the one thing that you know you love.
So how do you order your NTUC? If you're thinking of going to a restaurant, you already have a dish in mind?
I usually have a dish in mind, but I always read through the menu anyways, because you never know when something's just gonna like catch your mind as you make, damn, actually that looks good today. And it also depends on the mood.
Do you spread your business around, or do you have places you normally frequent?
Like keep in mind with the pandemic, I've been eating out a lot. Like
non-COVID times.
Yeah.
Non-COVID.
But pre-COVID times, yeah, there was definitely a bit of a rotation where like, you know, we're in St. Albert, there's 3-4 places kind of close to me, and it's kind of like, you know, those are the places that are walking distance and all that. You know, you can get there quickly.
I see you as an older man being like, I've been eating the Reuben sandwich here at Boston Pizza for 30 years. And then the manager being like, oh, you must love it. And you're like, not really.
But it's consistent.
I don't know. It is what it is.
It is.
Yeah. Your MChuck's going to be the early bird special guy.
We have to get there 45 minutes earlier, dear. 10% off eggs.
Yeah, no, that would be 100% me. I'm a good Ukrainian. I like saving money. What can I say?
Nation 15.
Nation 15 at Twig and Berries. Speaking of, we were talking Nation gear and all that, Bag Milk, I noticed you're rocking a all black Nation hoodie. That's one of the older blackout designs, but we got new ones coming. I know we've teased it a bit on the podcast, but I saw more of it going up today. Those are going to look very sharp. That's my favorite collection that we do.
And the one Bag Milk's wearing is being resurrected for this year.
Yeah,
black on black.
Let's bring them back to number one.
I haven't seen all of the designs yet, to be honest. So I'm really enjoying these teasers that are coming up because it's like a puzzle, an adventure.
Piece it all together.
Not that
blue. It's black on black.
Not that I'm one to ask for stuff, but I'm just saying if a couple showed up, you know, while I'm doing all these new video streams that we got going on every Tuesday, 1:00 on our Twitch, I think it'd be pretty sharp if I had
very valid point. Would you wear it all the time on Twitch?
I would wear it every second of my life, even when I'm not on Twitch, but I'd wear it especially when I'm on Twitch. I actually think that's something I meant to bring up the other day when we were talking. Like, I think doing more video stuff's a good chance for us to show off the Nation gear a little bit as well, which we are doing. More video content coming to you.
And I can't wait. I'm excited. We had a great call about that yesterday. I've also got your Twig and Berries box we got to get to you.
Okay.
We
had a great call about it. It was Jay going, if I have to ask one more time for this shit to go on video, and Bagbill going, it's impossible. None of us actually know how to do anything. And Jay going, well, that's not the spirit we have around here. And then we're all agreeing, even though we don't know what we're doing. More video content.
Well, that call led into yesterday's call, and it sounds like we're figuring it out.
Exactly.
Me and Josh Park got a handle on this stuff. Well, actually, mainly Josh Park, but I'm gonna, I'm like, if we're assigning roles, I'm the fourth liner who's just gonna, I think, do some dirty work, and Josh Park is gonna be the fancy boy who makes everything look good and gets us wins.
Josh Park he was just in the office here. He's going down into the studio. He just bought like what looks like a Hollywood set-sized green screen. Ooh. So the whole studio, I think, is going to be wrapped around in green. I think when he's all said and done.
Sweet.
So we are ready. Video game for the next. Well, we're working on the video right now. We're going to be doing some video, but we're going to be leveling up for start of next season.
I love that.
I'm looking forward to seeing what he came up with, because even if follow Josh on Instagram, Josh T Park, just seeing what he did in his little home studio there in the basement. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does at the office.
I got to see that studio. It's funny because it's like in his bedroom, and it's so small, but on camera it looks like it's huge.
Size
You did a
doesn't
great
matter.
job.
It's how you use it.
That's what she said.
I'm watching the Masters right now, and I'm fired up because my boy Justin Thomas, who I bet a couple of units on, that guy has 3 birdies on the first 3 holes. He is on fucking fire right now, and I am loving it. Hey, Chalmers, you betting on the Masters? Chalmers!
You know I am, boys. How are you?
What are you sipping on, Chalmers?
Better late than never. I don't have a drink right now. I'm thirsty as all hell. Pissed off.
Chalmers, just to run you through the topics we've hit on already today, have you seen the new Oilers jersey that's being teased?
So I saw the thing that Oilers Nation put on Instagram. That's about as far as it went, yeah.
Do you like it?
From what I see, it looks pretty sick, man. It looks nice.
I want to touch on the topic with Chalmers, though, because I think you're going to have a good story. Looking back on your drinking career, Chalmers, and where you're at now, is there something that you cannot believe you used to drink? So for me, what I used to do when I was like 18, 19, I would buy a Mickey of Zambuca and I would sip it, which is just complete madness.
We used to do merengues. Have you ever heard of a merengue with Zambuca? What you do is you'd put it in like a little snifter cup, and then you could light it on fire. And if you put your hand on it, the fire would go out, but it would suction to your hand. And then you could shake it all up, and then when you cracked it, there would be a strong, strong aroma from the fire going out in there.
Well, the alcohol becomes fumes at that point. You can get drunk off vapor.
Yeah, and you'd smell it, and you'd like take a big smell of it, and then shoot it. And it was a little warm. It was just delightful.
And then you go merengue.
You can dance around with 2 of them on your hand, but you got to use the fat part of the hand by the thumb, because then it really sucks into the glass. And you have to use the right type of snifters. They look like wine glasses, but they're very short stemmed, very, very short stemmed.
Like a port glass.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And what did I used to drink? Yeah, there's like 2 things that I used to drink that I cannot believe I drank. And number 1 was a Rev. Do you remember Rev?
Oh, the best. They're delicious.
They're
Those things are disgusting.
Shut up. They are not.
Hypnotic.
You remember Red Bull. Rev's their older cousin.
Yeah, Hypnotic was another one. And it was like...
Love Hypnotic.
Fluorescent blue and just disgusting.
Delicious.
But Hypnotic was such a waste of money because it was sugary, low booze, and expensive.
Yeah, but everywhere you went that had a black light, it literally glowed.
Oh, it looked cool. That's the thing. I bought
cool.
the packaging.
Alizé was also pretty weird. I don't know what
I used to go to for Alizé nights. I can't remember where, on White Ave somewhere, and there was like 2 flavors of Alizé. And I was like,
I remember people used to get orange Alizé and mixed with club soda, which turns into like basically you're not really drinking anything.
May as well take a deep breath.
Yeah, Revs were like the very first Red Bull kind of thing, but it was
I can't believe I used to shotgun a Rev for like luck to start my night.
Yeah, I love Rev too.
Those can't be good for you.
Yeah, they're fine. It was 20 years ago.
What about what about the golf question, your M-Check?
The golf question. After 9 holes, Chalmers, are you a sandwich or a hot dog guy?
Oh, sandwich. Never go hot dogs.
A good roast beef sandwich? Fucking right.
Yeah,
for an added level of difficulty, if there's a sausage roll on the menu, does that affect your decision?
Never been a big sausage roll guy. No, you guys used to always eat those things a lot, and I never got those. I still
would if they sold them.
I'm more of a muffin cinnamon bun type of guy.
Oh yeah,
I like my sweetness.
Buns.
But it's definitely sandwiches. Hot dogs. My problem with a hot dog is like if you're carrying your bag and you're trying to eat a hot dog and you put lots of condiments and it's a 2-hander, right? Whereas a sandwich is just 1 hand. And inevitably, I used to always get mustard on me somehow. Don't know how, but I used to do it. And so, yeah, I'm not a big hot dog fan.
You know what Jay loves, Chalmers, after 9 holes is a banana bread he forgets about in his golf bag.
Oh man, it was like always a treat for him. He used to put
there was
banana
a stretch as junior golfers where Jay would get banana bread every single time, put it in his bag and forget about it. 3 holes later, go to get a tea and be like, "Oh shit, banana bread!" Like every round of golf.
It was the best. Have you ever had surprise banana bread?
Yes.
It's some of the best.
It was kind of bananas in general. I remember when you went through your banana stage where you were like, remember Tiger Woods used to always eat bananas halfway during his round. He'd have like a bag full of bananas.
Get the potassium in your blood.
Yeah,
you're ready to
good
win.
electrolytes.
I couldn't put a banana in my golf bag. I'd be worried about it getting smushed and disgusting.
I'm still living the banana kick. I love if I have them at home, which I buy them every week. But if they're left, every morning I have peanut butter and banana toast.
Oh, well, we go through more bananas in our house than I think probably all you guys combined.
Well, that's because you adopted that gorilla, Chalmers.
Well, yeah.
And since Mr. Pickles moved in, it's banana o'clock.
But yeah, I've been checking. I'm in this big like year-long golf thing where you pick like 7 golfers in a salary cap type of format.
DraftKings?
And you have to try to. No, it's on Office Pools. It's set up by a guy, so it's inputted on officepools.com, and you can basically like. So I have right now Paul Casey and Hideki Matsuyama who are doing pretty damn good. So I'm looking good right now.
Paul Casey's on fire. I bet big on Justin Thomas. He's my boy, and he's 3 under through 3, so I am loving that. But how about Tiger Woods? Before we get to Scott Hastings, even if you're not a Tiger fan, I think you're intrigued by Tiger, and the tournaments are more exciting when Tiger's at the top. He's 4 under on the day. Yeah, I think he's almost done at this point as of us recording, but he's going to be in the conversation here, I think, heading into the weekend, and that's fun.
Yeah. Tiger Woods makes everything better. Every golf tournament. I mean, if you watch the Masters like previews, all the shows I've been watching for the last couple of days, it's been very Tiger heavy. And I don't know if you guys have been watching the TSN guys. When they showed up day one, like on Tuesday, it was James Duffy,
Bob Weeks and Graham
Dillette, and they were standing, and it was their first one, and they had to do the obligatory. So we're here. You're probably wondering how we got here, and we're in a bubble, and like just everything's safe. Of course, they have to stand, but they're standing 6 feet away from each other, so the camera has to pan way out on them, so you can see their whole bodies, and they looked so awkward. Standing there, didn't know what to do with their hands. They're all just standing there like stiff boards. So you could tell Duthy or somebody who knows what they're doing was like, get us some chairs.
Yeah.
For day 2, they had chairs, and Bob Weeks sat on the chair like sideways, like he had a dress on, and he looked ridiculous. So I think this is tough for guys when you can't just see them from the chest up. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing that drives me nuts with that is like, and I have a beef with like certain COVID protocols that I don't think are actually done with like public safety in mind. They're done with the idea of like, oh, just do it so we look good. And like the analysts that stand 6 feet apart, like doing that, they're standing 6 feet apart doing their TV hits, but living in the same house. And they took a 19-hour bus ride from Toronto to Augusta together on the same bus. Like, you're telling me you didn't all use the same bathroom that's in that bus or something? Like, I don't know. It just drives me nuts. Like, just let them stand together. No one on TV is going to be like, what the fuck?
I'm the diaper guy on all buses.
Did you hear Aaron Rodgers going off on the Pat McAfee show, talking about basically like how hypocritical some of the things that they have to do are?
No,
like,
what is it? Go on.
Well, they can't have, like, he's saying it's really tough to connect with your team in the dressing room because when you're in the dressing room, there's plexiglass between everything. You're not supposed to go within 2 feet of each other, or 6 feet of each other, sorry. And so, like, the camaraderie's not really there, yet they're expected to go and fly on a plane together and then, like, hit each other with no masks on, like, for practice.
Linemen are breathing on each other, like.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't get it. We're supposed to stay away from our own teammates, yet you see guys after the game and they're dapping up each other, they're hugging each other, like the quarterbacks from opposite teams are giving each other, like, you know, bro hugs, and you're just like, well, I don't get it, you know? But I think the one thing he doesn't understand is that when you're outside, like, science kind of says right now, whether or not you believe it or not, that it's a little different being inside and being outside, right? So, like, I get it. Everybody's just doing their best, but it was just funny to hear him say, basically going off about it.
Yeah. I think we caught Chalmers up on everything. Chalmers, we basically talked about drinking for like 30 minutes. So you missed a fun podcast.
Oh, my God, my specialty.
I put forward a theory, Chalmers, that if you've had chlamydia twice, you're immune to COVID.
What?
What?
Whatever. Prove me I'm wrong.
I can't. I could not do that. So you got me.
I did learn about Wanya Chalmers, though, that he was a sourpuss guy.
Oh, Chalmers remembers those days. Get a bunch of vodka sours to kick the night off.
Oh, yeah. Red sourpuss was the better one.
Oh.
Well, they're all bad. But yeah.
I remember in those days, Chalmers, we would get rounds of shots and then drink the round of shots, accusing each other of being our worst enemies as we had to drink them. Like, if you weren't complaining about the shot that was ordered, you weren't trying.
That's true.
We did the shots way too much. Like, that was always when it just It got weird after the shots.
I love shots.
Nothing good comes from shots.
That's not true. You're drunk, and that's great. That's why we're all here, aren't we?
Yeah, it's
Potentially.
because you never know where you're at with it the minute you take, and then it takes a while. Like
You mean to tell me, Jay? You mean to tell me all the nights at the Pint that you had drop shots in like Red Bull or whatever those things were, that you don't look fondly back on those drinks?
I can tell you, I would have had. It's how I felt the day after. The day after, nights of having shots versus not having
firework by how it looks.
Day.
You don't judge a firework by how it looks in the morning. You judge it at its beautiful moment of impact when it explodes.
Well, it's true. There is some, sex and violence about shots in terms of like it's got that cachet or whatever. But like, I should have just had a beer.
Oh, my favorite shot.
I still would have had just as good a night.
Dear.
I think
should have just had a beer.
Also depends on how they are presented. Like when we do Nation Christmas Party and Drinko was out.
Well, that's different. That's circumstantial. That's
where they make sense the most.
Because it's an event around having a shot. I'm not just having a shot as part of my drinking portfolio.
If you give everybody a shot and check in with them 15 minutes later, everyone's having a better shot.
Wanya, you're right though. Like when you think of some nights, like I think of the December 23rd. Every December 23rd, we would all. It was just unwritten. You didn't have to invite anybody, but everybody showed up. We all went to Sherlock Holmes pub in West Edmonton Mall in Bourbon Street, and there would be like 50, 60 of us there, and it was always December 23rd. And the one thing I remember the most about that was I always would get Irish car bombs.
Yes.
So many Irish car bombs.
Delicious. And it should be noted that the 23rd party had to be canceled because of annual fights breaking out. Probably had a lot to do with the car bomb.
Car bomb, yeah. Well, but let's the Irish car bomb is a very, very good shot.
Delicious.
It's the mob mentality. We'd always, you get like 30 to 50 of acquaintances, just people, everybody knows each other. And then one guy side looks another guy, and it's like mob mentality. Everybody's like, oh, let's do this.
Well, what we're doing is it's a high school reunion every year, right? So you go back into high school mode. So it just happens.
True.
Beefs go back to being unsquashed. Everything is relived, rehashed. It's, the 23rd. It had to end.
A tray of shots has only ever made your problems temporarily better and then much, much worse. Oh, yeah.
Hate to be the guy to break up the drinking chatter, but I think I need to reel this podcast back to sports and get set for our friend Scott Hastings from OddsShark. I think it's that time. We're going to do NFL Pick'em. We're going to talk about betting on the Masters. We're going to do all of that with Scott as I add him in here. As always, Scott Hastings from OddsShark.com. It is your spot for sports betting information. Be smarter. Be a better bettor. That's not their slogan. I just said that now, but it's true. OddsShark.com helps you become a better bettor. And I'm excited to do our pick'em because I won last week. I nailed my pick. Bag Milk's on a bit of a losing streak. We're going to talk to all that. We're going to get picks, everything with Scott. Scott, you joined the Real Life podcast, which is technically a sports podcast, but we just spent 30 minutes talking about drinking. I don't know if you're a drinker or anything like that, but our big question was, what is the one thing when you were younger that you used to drink like religiously that now you're just like, I can't believe I did that? Is there something that sticks out to you?
Yeah, I used to drink vodka, but I don't drink the vodka anymore. So that's
probably fair.
So yeah, I guess that was a high school. Are we allowed to say that?
Yes.
Of age, drinking vodka. Yeah. So I haven't touched vodka in several years. Also, Freddie Couples just dropped an F-bomb on air, so that was good.
Oh, sweet! I love
Freddie Couples. That's great. There you go. Masters.
I always love when they do that, when they're just like, "Oh, apologies for everybody." Like, you never heard that word before anywhere ever before. Sorry.
Yeah. They go with the obviously he's frustrated line. It's a classic, and now he can't get the ball to drop, so that's it's an issue for Freddie.
We're talking about the Masters with Scott Hastings from OddsShark. I want to get into like a few things about it, but I think just first for the people who are listening to this, and hey, maybe for our friend Bagged Milk as well, who have never bet on golf before. There's the standard pick a winner. They can come top 5, top 10, top 20. But are there some other different ways on maybe a day-to-day basis to bet on golf?
Yeah, and sometimes when you choose a winner, certain books will even pay you out if they're leading on the, if you pick the winner. So it looks like Paul Casey's going to win day one at least. He shot a 7 under, tremendous score. So some books will actually pay you out for the winner if they're leading at any round. So that's pretty cool. One of the ones that I really like is three balls. And so basically you're choosing which player of the group is going to win. Of course, 3 balls, 3 players going on at the same time. And oftentimes all 3 options will be plus money. So I absolutely love doing 3-ball bets.
Interesting stuff. Heading into this weekend, we all know that the public loves betting on Tiger. At least that's the perception. Did that hold true heading into the Masters? Was Tiger the most bet on? Was he up there again?
Yeah, he's always a popular bet. Although OddsShark Ian McMillan loves to take the Tiger not to make the cut. That's one of his favorite bets. It's always plus money, so he loves to do it. But Tiger's shooting 4 under today, so poor Ian is going to lose his bet. That doesn't make me feel too bad, though.
Can somebody explain to me what Rory McIlroy's problem is with Augusta? He's already +1 after 3, and they did a whole thing on him, and I was watching it without the volume on. I just couldn't turn the volume on. But, do we know what the deal is with him there?
No, I get maybe he likes the Irish links type courses where they're wide open and windy.
Yeah, maybe, eh?
These tight corners of Augusta around, just some of the stuff. Maybe he has an issue with it, or he just will bait you into not being good and then goes out and wins it anyway. So time will tell for Rory.
Last Masters question I had for you. We're almost done day 1 here, so I mean the odds are going to change and all that throughout the weekend. But heading into this, were there any sort of mid-range plays, guys that you like to maybe surprise a bit at Augusta?
Yeah, I'm never a guy to take the favorite in any golf tournament. I just think there's so much value that you anyone outside. So a couple guys that I liked. Let me bring up my slip here. Jason Day was plus 3,300, and just a guy that towards the end of the season was starting to really putt well. Used to be the best putter in the game, and his whole game was coming around. Colin Morikawa, he won a major last year, one of the young and up and comers. He was plus 2,800. So those are sort of what I look for, somewhere in that plus 3,000 range that has had the ability to win a tournament or two and is providing good value.
What were the odds? Because this guy is he's just greasy in the sense that he shows up to he's always in contention at the Masters, and sure as shit, he's in contention today. And that is one Louis Oosthuizen.
Yeah.
I love Oosthuizen. He's a real scrappy guy, isn't he?
Yeah, you can just set your watch to him. He's going to be he's going to play a factor in the Masters.
So I'm just looking at our Masters page, which had I think the top 20 down to Adam Scott, who was plus 5,000, and Oosthuizen wasn't there, so he was more than plus 5,000. He's just one of those guys, but he always, I find, has a rough weekend. He usually gets off to a hot start and then sort of tails off a little bit. You see that with a lot of players. Tony Finau, of course. How many times was he leading into Saturday and Sunday and then has epic collapses? So, I feel Oosthuizen is that type of player as well. So he might look good right now, but I don't know if he's worth your investment.
Shifting gears. Oh, what was that, Jay? Oh, nothing.
Oh, Louis, I'm going to see how he fares tomorrow. I'm because I'm new to golf betting, and so I'm waiting until the weekend before I place my bets on my horses for the weekend.
I frequently do that too as well. On Saturday morning, moving day, of course, is I look for a guy that might be just 3 or 4 strokes back, but is providing plus 2,000. Something that you can still make up that ground within Saturday, Sunday. Now, I'm not taking 10 shots back, but 2 or 3, maybe 4. Mm-hmm. I find there's a little value there just to have a little fun.
Yep.
So would that be your best advice heading into the weekend then at Augusta? If someone's sitting here right now being like, I didn't get in on it on Thursday, but on the weekend when you're going to be sitting down and watching 5 straight hours of it, look for those guys who are maybe just 3-4 back?
Yeah, that's sort of what I go about. It's just looking for that value, that taking a favorite at plus 400 or plus 500 going into Saturday when anything can happen. And we've even seen it on Sunday, major collapses or major comebacks. Tiger, when he won last year, I think he started the day 4 shots back and goes out and wins it. So that's one of the things that's really fun about golfing, or frustrating if you have the leader, is there is value to be made if you can catch a guy that gets hot, essentially.
We got some time here to talk NFL Week 10 with Scott Hastings from OddsShark. And for me personally, I can usually take, a 5-minute look at the slate coming up and quickly look at, okay, there's kind of 3 or 4 spots here that I don't mind. I like doing the 6-point teasers like your colleague Joe Osborne does every week as well. So I can usually pick up a few spots. This week feels like a tough slate to me. Am I right in thinking that? Like, it doesn't look like there's a lot of games on here where I'm going, that looks like a nice little value play.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of either really tight lines or Green Bay versus Jacksonville where you get a double-digit line. Everything seems pretty tight, and of course Joe is afraid to take an actual line, so he teases it. So a little chirp on old Joe there. But yeah, no, I found the lines were pretty sharp this week. But in fact, most of my picks this week are on totals rather than sides, just because there wasn't a ton that I was in love with as far as the point spread went.
It's funny because I go through my list of things that I look at, and like I do this thing where I have to bet on which team is going to win and how much they're going to win by. And when I go through it and I go I go gut who I think is going to win, and then I look at the lines. I've got heavy lines on a lot of these. Like, I just feel like there's some teams that are playing above their standard, and like others that aren't. Like the Seahawks only being favored by to the Rams. Like, I think they're going to blow them out. I don't see anything with the Rams. Guys like the Buccaneers, I believe that they're like poised for a comeback, and then Carolina's not going to be good. I don't get it. The lines are all so tight. Some of the games are even like the team is favored that I just don't see. I just don't get it. Like Miami favored over the Chargers. I don't get that one.
Yeah, like for me though, Chalmers, you mentioned the Bucs as one team and the Seahawks as another. Those are two teams that I personally feel like I don't trust. We just saw last week Seattle was getting blown out early. Bucs got blown out as well in prime time.
But it's one of those things where every single when they play good, which they do most of the time, they're head and shoulders above these other teams. But then they have their bad game, and that's where your trust starts to waver in them. But it doesn't change anything. The fact is they're still made up of the same parts. Guys just have a bad week, or maybe something goes through their locker room, and it's just an off week for them. And then I think that plays into it. Like, I don't know. There's something weird about this week where when I look at it, I have lines of like 14, 10, 14, 24. Like, the only games I have that are tighter this Thursday night are in the Cowboys-Texans. Or the Browns-Texans, I'm sorry.
Chalmers.
Scott, your take on our debate?
I think there's definitely dud games, and there's something to that. And it's tricky. You don't see a 16-0 team very often, nor do you see an 0-16 team. Although there's certain teams that should be 0-16, but they always muster up a win. Like the Jets almost did it last week.
Yeah,
that was a game that a lot of people were all over the Patriots. I like the Jets. I thought it was going to be low scoring. It definitely was not, which was surprising to me. So there is something to be about that, and you will see lines reflect when you see a team come off a bad performance, like Tampa Bay. If Tampa Bay had to beat New Orleans, they probably would have been 6.5 point favorites, not 4.5 point favorites. So it's just one of those things that you got to try and see what would the public sort of put that line at, and that can tell you a lot of where you should be putting your money. So if you think they're a slam, I've said this before, if you think something looks like a slam dunk, that's where it gets really sketchy, right? And I think we're seeing that a lot with these tight 1.5 point spreads that feel, they should win by 10, and then they lose by 10, and you're like, well, damn.
See, and I don't understand. The Cardinals lose last week. The Bills win last week, yet the Cardinals are favored -2. That makes no sense to me.
Again, there's the travel aspect of that one. So the Bills were at home to Seattle, so Seattle went West Coast to East Coast. Now the Bills are going vice versa. I know Arizona's not quite the West Coast, but same idea that they're going to be traveling southwest. So there is a little bit of travel aspect to it, but some of these lines are awfully fishy.
that kind of leads me into my rookie betting question of the week, Scott. I'm not doing very well to pick up the last 3 weeks. So somebody slid into my DMs. His name's Corey. Said that I'm choosing favorites over value. Can you please explain what that means to me?
Yeah, that's a good one. So there's a lot of times I use that actually a lot for UFC betting. Is there's certain fights that I'll see that I think it's a coin flip. Although I could see why one guy is favored over the other, but I think the odds should be a lot tighter. And so I'll usually default to the underdog in that situation. So it would be like, what were the Patriots? 10-point favorites last week?
Yeah.
Something like that. So that's one that they shouldn't have been 10-point favorites because they haven't really beaten anyone notably. Like they haven't looked good. Cam Newton struggles to pass the ball. As bad as the Jets are, they've been a scrappy team. And coming off a game against Kansas City where they were competitive until they weren't, it was just one of those games that, yes, the Patriots were probably going to win, but were they going to win by 10 points? It's just they were a little overvalued, and public perception that the Jets are trash, although it's mostly true, they are still a bit of a scrappy team and have been getting they've been getting some players healthier and stuff, especially their wide receivers. So those are some things, too, that people will forget about, that a player comes off the IR or whatnot, and you assume that they're still trash, and they get overlooked, and that's when you see an inflated line.
Well, in that game, what's funny is, with the Patriots, it seems like the Dolphins and the Jets always treat that every year like that's their Super Bowl. And so they always play the Patriots. It's like they circle it on the calendar at the beginning of the year, and you know those games are going to be tight.
Well, that's a good point that you bring up there, and it's divisional matchups. You know, you, especially in the NFC or AFC West, which is the Broncos and all that. I don't know how many times that the Broncos or the Chargers have been 6-point underdogs, maybe even to the Chiefs, where you say, like, of course, the Chiefs are going to cover that. And it's a divisional game, and they end up scrapping it out, that it ends up being a field goal that decides it. So a little bit of that it's a very good point, that divisional games often be a lot tighter than just your AFC, NFC matchup.
Let's talk about our weekly pick'em before we wrap up here. Last week, the boys on the pod here, the real life boys, went 2-2. Chalmers, you missed on the Cardinals. I nailed the Ravens -2.5, and that was a bit early. That was a sweat for me because I had more than a few units on the Ravens, but that came through. Jay, you got Giants +2.5. Beg milk, like you said, 3 misses in a row. The Steelers, I mean, they cost me a little bit of money as well, so I won't be too rough on you. Scott, you went 2 for 3 again, just remarkably consistent this year since we started doing our predictions. But you're still chasing that 3-0 week. Before we get to the experts, Scott, let's go give our picks for the week, and I'll start with you, Bagged Milk. Who you want to go with?
I'm going to go with Pittsburgh again.
Okay, Steelers
got
again.
Pittsburgh again.
And what are they?
They are
7.5 is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I got 7.5.
OddsShark.
So yeah, we got Pittsburgh -7.5 against Cincinnati. I don't hate that. I like a good bounce back week for the Steelers. Chalmers, you missed last week as well, so where are you going?
Yeah, I flip-flop back and forth between the Chargers-Dolphins game and the Seahawks-Rams game, but I am going to take the Seahawks +2.
Seahawks.
I just think they win outright. I think I know the travel. I get it. It's a divisional game. Seahawks are just better, in my opinion.
Interesting enough. Jay?
Well, then don't be a coward and say you'll take them on the money line.
Well, no. I'm going to take the 2. Come on. This is all about the record. We take the advantages that are given to us. I'm
going with my heart. I need them to win. Need them to win. I'm going Cleveland over Houston. -3. But in all honesty, if you want to make some money this week, Tom Brady is putting up some fucking points this week. So if you want to win some money, don't bet a lot. Don't trust my advice. There's my disclaimer. Tampa and the over.
Okay.
And team total over and everything?
Team total. Tampa and the over. Tampa is dropping 40 points on Carolina because Tom is pissed.
Fair enough. All right. Can't argue with that analysis. I'm going to go right back to the Ravens. They were good to me last week, and I don't like this Patriots team at all. I think a touchdown is fair, so I'll take Ravens -7. And that brings us to Scott Hastings, who last week you nailed the Raiders. You nailed my Buffalo Bills. That was a big win for them. And like you said, the New York, New England game was just weirdly high scoring. But where are you going this week, Scott?
Yeah, that was disappointing. Although I hit the under on the Sunday nighter, that looked like it was trash at halftime, and then it just stopped, and I was like, "Oh, thank Lord." We're gonna go with.
Wait, hold up, one second.
One second.
We're getting an echo from someone's mic.
We have an echo.
Oh, there we go. Thank you, Chalmers. Scott, where are you going for your picks?
Okay, we're good. I'm going with aforementioned AFC West matchup. Denver and Las Vegas. I'm going with the underdog Denver Broncos. Just like Drew Lock's been putting some points up surprisingly. And once again, divisional matchup, they're always scrappy. 5 points is too much. Then I've just not a lot of confidence in a lot else. I'm going to go with that Baltimore New England game though. And I'm going to go with the total. I'm going over 43.5 points. Yeah, I don't have a lot of confidence in the Patriots. They've been running the ball a little better. I think both teams should put up 22 points, which would hit a 44 over. If not, Baltimore will get 30 and New England will put up their handful of points. So over 43.5. And geez, what are we going to go with now? I did like the Browns, but it's already been taken. So I'll go something else.
That warms my heart to know.
I do like it.
I hope that's two of your 3 picks, not one of your 3 picks.
I love seeing that you're doing these kind of like, you're looking at a list, but you're kind of still doing it by the gut. It makes me think that I'm not doing this all that wrong. I always go by my gut.
And I guess we'll go with we'll go with the other NFC East matchup, Philly and New York. And I'm going to go with the over 44.5 in that one too. Philly's just those type of teams that is a type of team that can win games, but makes a hell of a lot of mistakes. And if you make mistakes against the Giants, they will get you for 20 plus points. Eagles should win that game. So I like over 44.5 in that one.
Perfect. Scott, as always, appreciate your time. Enjoy the weekend, man. There is a ton going on. It's going to be fun.
Hell yeah.
Take
care, guys.
There you
go.
go.
Sunday.
That is Scott Hastings from OddsShark. Your spot for sports betting info. Check them out, oddshark.com. Check out Scott as well on Twitter. Always giving you good picks. Always joining the pod to give us some fire takes and good picks as well. Yeah, this Sunday, man. Whew.
You know what I'm thinking of doing? I'm thinking of trading in next year's Father's Day for this Sunday. Say, don't bug me. Get out of the house. Go tobogganing. Let me do my thing. And I'm just going to have all these TVs on football, the Masters. And in lieu of next year's Father's Day.
I'm going to say this quietly because I know my girlfriend's in the other room and she won't like it. I'm thinking of moving the TV out of the bedroom and into the living room for a day.
Yes,
and
you need 2 TVs. You deserve it.
Well, I have 2 already. I'm bringing the one out of the bedroom to go 3 so I can have 2 football games and the Masters. Laptop's always on Red Zone because you can watch it on tsn.ca now. So I'll have the 4 screens going and it's going to be great.
You can do what now?
You have cable, obviously, right?
Of course.
If you go on tsn.ca and you sign in through your cable provider, you can watch Red Zone on your computer.
Well, isn't that something?
You didn't know that?
Game changing.
I had no idea.
It's fucking
That's
unreal,
fantastic.
Man. Unreal.
You know what I do? So sometimes when I'm doing stuff around the house, or like I've been building the outdoor rink, or even some days when I'm working on a Sunday, I listen to Sirius Satellite through my phone, and so I listen to the daily, I think it's called the Daily Grind or something with Bill Leckus and Joe and something Tory or whatever.
Yep.
And it's like Red Zone, but on the radio, and it's just not that good. I'd much rather stream the Red Zone, and just listen to it and have it in my pocket just on.
Yeah. Yeah, you can do it on tsn.ca now. They did that. They just started that this year, it's so nice. Like I could always go find a stream of it somewhere, but it's nice to be able to just tsn.ca, 2 clicks, bang, Red Zone's on your laptop. And I'm too cheap to pay for Red Zone on my TV, so it's got to be that way. All right.
Cheap.
Pardon?
I said it ain't cheap.
Oh, no, it is not cheap at all. Don't forget.
Did we hear from Tanner? How's things with Tanner going?
I don't know.
You know what? I didn't get an email. I'm gonna send him. I'll send him an email right now. See if,
tell him we want bi-weekly check-ins on how this is going.
That'd be great.
I'm invested now.
Chalmers, I saw your wife commented on the Instagram post. Did she go listen to your advice?
I have no idea. She doesn't. She's not exactly the biggest podcast listener to it. She doesn't even have Apple Music on her phone. Like, it's ridiculous. So yeah, if she could figure out even how to do it, if she maybe listen to it, I'm not sure. I don't think she'd disagree with me though. I thought you gave good advice. Yeah, we have a philosophy around our house, and it was just that.
Yeah, I'll check in with Tanner to make sure that he's following your advice, Chalmers.
I have some other relationship advice for everyone listening to this. If you're looking, you got a special someone in your life, go get them the new gift box from Twig and Berries. It is tremendous value. You need to check this thing out. They posted about it on their Instagram. It's on their website as well. twigandberries.ca. Let me just say here, $150 gets you the Connor hoodie. It's their best-selling hoodie. A pair of their very own nutsack underwear, a pair of their Twig and Berries Active Fit socks, their ultra slim wallet, their tumbler, and their toque. A toque, a tumbler, a wallet, socks, underwear, hoodie, only $150. It's your one-stop shop for Christmas shopping. Check them out, twigandberries.ca. Good local company. Use the promo code NATION15 at checkout. Also, keep your eyes peeled, nationgear.ca, because that blackout collection is coming, and it is good. You need something to eat this weekend? Oodle Noodle's also your spot. There you go. Look at that.
Tanner, another free piece of advice. Your missus is going to want to see you in those fresh nutsack undies.
There you go. Big thanks to Scott Hastings for joining us today on the podcast. Big thanks to the four of you for stopping by as well. This was good. Monday, we got a special guest, so we'll have that interview coming to you again. The teaser I gave was you've seen him around Rogers Place plenty of times. This will be a fun interview. I'm excited. Talk to you all on Monday. Episode 230 of the Real Life Podcast, brought to you by Oodle Noodle, is over.
Great job on making it through the entire hour of the Real Life Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast from.